What's up, everybody? Matt DeFeedy with Realty Executives Elite Homes in Nutley, New Jersey. And just stopping my table from shaking here. But I think it's about time we do a market update. We haven't done one in a while. And a lot has gone on since we last did a market update. And let's talk about the state of the market for Nutley, New Jersey and what's going on with it. As of right now, we are still dealing with a lack of inventory. Even though the inventory has basically doubled in the last 2 weeks, this is the time of year that people will be putting their home on the market. And from now until the summer is like peak selling time. But let's talk about the average price point and what it looks like and how a home seller can get their home on the market, because a lot of people haven't bought a home or sold a home and maybe sold a home in 30 plus years. And so the market's a lot different than it was when you did buy your home 30 years ago. So let's talk about that for a second. Average price point in town is about $580,000. For $580,000, you can expect to pick up a 3-bedroom, maybe 1.5 bath side hall colonial that maybe needs a little bit of updating. Homes on the higher end. Nutley's luxury end, or Nutley's luxury market starts around like $700,000 and up, and we have homes now going into the 1 million, 1.1, 1.2 range right now, and that's not typical of Nutley. But in the last 2 years, we have seen prices go higher just because of the lack of inventory out there. The higher interest rate has not slowed down demand. Now, imagine if rates were still at 3 or still at 4, we'd probably have more inventory on the market, but then we'll be back to those offers where we have, 30, 40, 50, 60 offers on one property. Right now, we're averaging about 10 to 12 offers on a property. Within the first week, we're usually getting an offer. If we're not getting an offer in the first week, then either the home is basically overpriced or there's a lot wrong with it. So that's one thing. That's a whole nother conversation we can have. So average price point is about $580,000. Average days on market right now, about 30 days. Typical closing takes about 45 days because there's a whole process in there. Now, let's talk about how much inventory is on the market. Right now, there's about a dozen homes on the market, and it fluctuates a little bit week by week, but that's where we're at. I expect to see more coming on, but I also expect to see those homes going off rather quickly. Right now, interest rates are around 7, and I don't think we're going to see much of a change for quite a while when it comes to interest rates. So the people that are buying homes have a need to buy. They need to buy a home. So that's why they're purchasing a home. Or maybe they have a job transfer or something of that nature. So you're a home seller and you haven't sold a home in 30 years and you want to know what the process is like now and how it goes and so on and so forth. So basically the way it works is you hire a realtor like myself. We come to your house. We take a look at the home. We have an idea of what the home is valued at. We sit down and discuss with you, and we show the comps, or comprehensives they're called. Comps is realtor talk. We look at the values or the sold prices of what those homes sold for. Now, a big mistake a lot of home sellers make is they will go online and look and see what homes are on the market and start comparing their home to that home. That's not how it works. You need to compare your home to homes that have closed. That's what the banks look at, or that's what the appraisers look at when they come out to appraise a home. So the system it works like this. We come into the house, we give you an idea of what the home can sell for, we tell you what's going on in the marketplace, we tell you, buyer demand and everything else, and what consumers are looking at, if the home needs to be staged, if it doesn't need to be staged, if there's some things that need to be fixed before we actually put the home on the market. We have a team of people that help you do that. They'll come in, make small repairs, some painting, sheetrocking, whatever needs to be done to get the home on the market. All right? Not every home needs to be staged. Some homes don't need to be staged. A majority of homes don't need to be staged. Staging also comes with an expense to the seller that sometimes the seller doesn't want to absorb. Okay? Anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 for the average stage job out there. So once we get that done, then we do photography and video. I'm a big believer in great photography and big believer in video as well, because we market your home on different platforms that use video like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and so on. So once we do that, we get the paperwork together with you. We take it, we do the photography and video, we put the home on the MLS and all the other marketing platforms that we have out there. We run our social media campaigns, we do our direct email campaigns, we do our direct mail campaigns, any print marketing advertising we do as well. We usually run full page ads in the Nutley Journal, and we feature homes in there. There's a bunch of other things we do as well. And then we hold open houses to check the temperature and what the feedback is. So, and if we don't have an offer in the first week or two, then we sit down and talk to our clients and we explain this is how it goes. So here's where it gets a little confusing. Once we get an offer, that's the first part. Then we have to go through what we call attorney review. Both attorneys, buyer and seller attorney, kind of get together, exchange, the contract, and they exchange some amendments to the contract. And they just confirm all the points in there and all the bullet points and everything else, and they put their legalese in there. And your attorney, hopefully you have a good real estate attorney, he's going to discuss with you certain things about the contract, certain dates you have to hit, so on and so forth. It's pretty clean, clear, and simple. Things tend to get messy when buyers and sellers don't think they have to adhere to that contract. And that's where the realtors come back in. So we're with you every step of the way. So we're helping negotiate with the other side. A lot of times attorneys will come to us and say, hey, listen, before I get on the horn with the other attorney, can you just reach out to that realtor and have them speak to their client and talk about an issue that we're dealing with, whether it be closing date, whether it be an appraisal shortage, whether it be a home inspection issue. So once we go into contract, the buyer has a time period they can do their due diligence and their home inspections. Now, side note, when you sell a property and you say it's being sold as is, you can say as is all you want. And every deal I've done that said as is, buyers still, after their home inspections, came back and asked for credits and asked for, things to be repaired. And sometimes the answer was just, no, we're not doing it. Okay? So that all depends. So again, the realtor gets involved, negotiates with the other realtor to figure out what we can do to keep the deal moving forward and make everybody happy. Okay, so once we get past the whole home inspection issue, that's the first hurdle. The second hurdle is the appraisal. Now I get asked all the time, Matt, what happens if the home doesn't appraise? Well, there's a couple of things that can happen. The first thing that's going to happen, I will guarantee you this, if the home doesn't appraise, the buyer's attorney is going to ask the seller or you to drop the price of the home to what the home appraised for. That's their standard protocol. That's what they do. And then as the agent or as the seller, you can go back and say, no, we're not doing that. How about we negotiate it? So, you negotiate out an appraised value. Or you say no, or they come up with the extra money to, jump the appraisal gap there. Appraisal gaps have been in a lot of contracts in the last couple of years, people putting in, if the home doesn't say I offer $700,000 for the home, as long as the home appraises at $650,000, I'll cover the rest. That's an appraisal gap kind of thing. All right. So you negotiate appraisal. While that's being done, title work's being done by the buyer's attorney and title company to make sure there's no encumbrances on the actual title. But you're not involved in that as a seller. You're just sitting back, taking direction from your realtor, taking direction from your attorney, okay? Once that is done, it's pretty much, once we get past the home inspection, once we get past the appraisal, it's pretty much smooth sailing from there on in, unless something happens on the buyer's side where they can't close. Or like one of my deals recently where the town would not issue a certificate of occupancy because there were some items they didn't like, and the seller was not willing to fix them, so the deal fell apart. That also can happen with the appraisal too. They can just say, hey, no, we're not paying it, you're not agreeing to it, we're out, we're done, and they cancel the contract. It happens, okay? And we'll talk about buyer's remorse in a second because that's happening a lot, and there's a reason for that. So once we get that done, then we're going to get what they call a clear to close. Your attorney will say, hey, we're clear to close, we're closing on this day, yada, yada. Typically, buyers and sellers don't even attend the closings anymore. They kind of do everything via email. Sometimes the buyers will go to the attorney's office and sign off on stuff, and then you close, and then you get your money wired to you, and that's it, you're done as a seller. Now you move on to your next property. Now, let's talk about that buyer's remorse for a minute, because it's been happening a lot more, especially when you have a property that is, you have multiple offers on. So say there's a property and people are bidding it up. Say it's listed at 500 and people are bidding at 550, 575, 560, 600. Now the highest bidder gets it. Now what they do is they turn around, they get caught in that whole FOMO thing where they wanted the house, they wanted the house, they wanted the house. They got the house now. Now they have regret because now they think they're paying too much for it and they pull out of the deal. It's that simple. Just because they signed on there and they're in attorney review, they pulled out of the deal. There's several areas where deals can fall apart, right? So the first is negotiation, of course. The second is attorney review. The third is home inspection. The fourth is appraisal. And that's it. But every step of the way, your realtor is working with you. Your realtor should just not be opening doors and closing doors. They should be guiding you every step of the way. And I hope that this video I put out there explains it a little better. If you're a home seller and you need to talk to me and you need to learn more about the process, you can reach out to me, Matt DeFede, Realty Executives at Nutley. Give me a call.